Hello, I'm Orbital Structures, and I'd like to help you develop the leader within. Today I'm just going to mention another book that I wrote about orbits. It's called Into Orbit. You can get it on pelsamedia.com. And we're studying the difference between pyramid structures and orbital structures. I'd like to engage with you. We do coaching and consultation for companies and individuals and organizations, and we've helped transform global organizations into orbital structures. This is more sustainable, and I'll explain why. And if you build a pyramid is a tomb for a pharaoh. So they put all sorts of things in there. It looks impressive. It tries to align itself with stars and things like that, but eventually it gets raided by tomb raiders. And it becomes a nice relic of the past, but it's not very useful for the future. It becomes a monument to somebody. And if that's what you want, that's what a lot of people do. But there's a lot of death connected with it, because the pharaoh would put even some of his servants that were alive in there for the afterlife, and they put all them, they store up all their wealth and things like that. And what for, So when we're doing organizations, we want to sustain life. We want to have orbital structures around a central concept that will be sustainable. So the Earth orbits the sun, and the Earth is at such a distance from the sun that it can sustain life. We can have an atmosphere that things can grow, that water particles can be available. So if you look at the universe and where we can sustain life, they're always looking at planets that orbit a local sun or a star, and it must be not too far so that people freeze, and not too close that people burn. So so the distances are important. And if you look at the International Astronomical Union, they stipulated 3 requirements for planets. And what I look for is not shooting stars in organizations. So a lot of people, they try and impress you, and they overwork themselves, and they also burn out just like a shooting star. And a shooting star is a misnomer, because it's a little asteroid that's coming to the Earth's atmosphere, and it starts to burn out as it hits the oxygen. And eventually it looks impressive. It makes a little line across the sky, and people wish upon a star and get all nostalgic. But it actually is useless. Shooting stars are not sustainable. Don't be a shooting star. Become a planet that sustains life, that orbits a central thought, that understands what's important and what forces are at work to remain in those orbits. I'll explain to you in this book. We talk about centripetal versus centrifugal forces, and how those things should be in balance in your company and in your life. It depends what you're doing. If you're a business person and you're starting your own business, people need to understand what drew you to the central concept of your business, because it'll draw them. But then you also need to be giving out something that's consistent. And when those things are in balance, there's orbits and there's life that sustains itself. So I'll explain that further. And I like doing sessions with people where we take them through. It just takes an hour or so, but we talk about what forces are at work in your life. And we also start mapping out the orbits in your life through questions and answers system. I've developed 50 questions or so that I can take people through to finally map out their orbits and systems in their life, and to show them where maybe they can improve it, and where maybe where they are missing a few opportunities, and where they're not seeing orbits and patterns in their lives that can improve. I like to bring that out, and just through simple meditation principles that we have, and questions and answers, and a bit of mind mapping, we can help you. And I would love to engage with you, so you can organize an online session with us at a reduced rate. At this time, it's better for us to do it online. So I've done that a few times during lockdown, and it's been great. It's been great to get engagement with some of our friends and partners around the world. But if you're new to this, let me know, and you can contact me, ajapelser@gmail.com. And then you can spell that AJEPELSER@gmail.com. And we can set up a session, and you can see if you like it, and then we can talk further. But the 3 things that 3 requirements for something to be a planet is, first of all, they need to orbit a star or a sun. Secondly, they need to have enough gravity to pull them into a ball. And if you understand that the Bible says at the beginning the world was in chaos, and then God said, let there be light, and let there be lights, and let the there to be separation of matter. And what happens in the Big Bang theory that people talk about is there's a big explosion and there's stellar dust. And because things are in motion, there's a disk of motion of stellar dust and debris. Because of gravity, things will clump into a ball, collapse itself. And a planet needs to have enough gravity to pull itself into a ball. And if you know, that's the most efficient shape for something to be pulled into itself. So, and thirdly, they need to have cleared out all other objects and debris from their orbit. So this is why Pluto is no longer a planet, because they could not remove or clear out other objects from their path. Pluto has failed to clear out all the objects from its orbit. Earth is 1,000,000 times more massive than all the material in its orbit combined, but Pluto is a tiny fraction of the rest of the icy material around it. So it's become like a dwarf planet, or just something is being declassified. So if you don't take the time to understand your inner gravity, you will not pull yourself into what makes you who you are. And when the Earth does that, it even drew the moon around itself, and the moon now has a wonderful relationship with the Earth and causes tides and things like that. So it's valuable to spend a bit of time thinking about what makes you who you are, and that will draw you focus inward. And when you focus inward, you pull things in who you are, and you expel things that shouldn't be there, and you clear out the debris in your thinking and in your life's orbits. You're going around life, you're doing things regularly, but if you keep clashing into the same things and not clearing it out or pulling it in so that it becomes part of what you're doing, that process takes a moment. We just say, well, what are the debris in my life? What is the debris in my life, and how can I clear it out? Make a little mind map, and you say, okay, there's things that are constantly bothering me. Every time I come around to that place, it's the same thing. I clash with the same things. It's time to clear it out. It's time to engage maybe with people that are debris in your life, and to confront those situations and talk it through so that it doesn't prevent you from becoming who you're supposed to be with the proper gravity, so that you can be established as a life-sustaining planet by yourself. And that will also sustain life for the people around you. It will be better for you, for your mental state, for your spiritual state, for your soul. And I talk in terms of orbits, and people go, well, yeah, okay. And after a while, when they thought about it, some people come back 3 or 4 years later and say, you know what, I read your book and it didn't really make sense at first, and then I started seeing it, and then I started implementing it, and now I understand. So that's the idea. This is supposed to trigger your thought process and trigger and things to collapse into something that's sustainable, that has got gravity in your life. And clear out some of the debris. Write down some of the things that bother you. And it can be people. It can be finances. It can be failures of your past, and you keep bumping your head back into those things. It can be old relationships too. So whatever it is, it can be the way you did work, the way you did business the last 10 years. It can be some of the explosions of previous businesses, and it's all debris and so on. But if you wade through it and you use your gravity and your core beliefs and systems, it will trigger and collapse those things into a ball. So you can take your old failures and learn from them, go through them, work through them, say, okay, what did I learn? What did I do wrong? What can I change? And as you do that, it will bring things into a planetary system around a central value and force in your life that you can also discuss. So that's the concept, really. And I'd like to go through that process with you if you're interested. I like to facilitate people developing their own orbits and systems in their life, in their work, in their church, in their organizations. We work with a lot of NPOs, and but we've also seen it work in business as well now. And we're starting to see how we can apply that, even using technology. People have taken IT systems and applied orbits to that, and it's working. And I can show you how it works. So let me know. I'd like to be your coach on various levels and to help you develop the leader within and see some orbits in your life that are sustainable and that will sustain life and also promote further galaxies and things around you as well. So I hope you understand these concepts and enjoy exploring these galaxies of thought with me. I love doing thought experiments with people as well. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And God bless you. Have a great day.